The day before Chloe was supposed to marry Lucas, Lucas's ex-girlfriend died on the operating table due to a massive hemorrhage. Lucas placed the wedding ring that belonged to Chloe on his ex-girlfriend's hand. Chloe was already dead. Lucas would not hold it against a dead person, would he? No, Chloe would not hold it against a dead person. Chloe did not even want to argue with Lucas. Lucas stated that he wanted to stay by his ex-girlfriend's side and did not want to get married, so Chloe canceled the wedding. At that moment, Lucas breathed a huge sigh of relief, but he went crazy a month later when Chloe was trying on the wedding dress. The makeup artist looked at Chloe happily. "It's so beautiful. After today, you'll be the most gorgeous bride." Chloe nodded, but her groom, Lucas, no longer wanted her. Half an hour earlier, a strange account had sent Chloe messages. "You think Lucas likes you, but he loves me more. Between the two of us, he'll only choose me." When Chloe saw the messages, she quickly went to look for Lucas because their wedding was about to take place soon, and he had been so nice and loving to her. However, Lucas, who was standing in the distance, frowned his handsome brows and looked at his phone worriedly. Then, as if Lucas had made up his mind, Lucas picked up the wedding ring on the table and was about to leave. Chloe quickly grabbed Lucas's hand, and suddenly Chloe couldn't hold back her tears. Chloe's eyes filled with them. "You're leaving at this most important moment?" Lucas couldn't help but sigh, and then Lucas reproached Chloe, "Chloe, I'm just going out for a while. Don't be like a child. I'll be back in a moment." Lucas shook Chloe off forcefully and couldn't wait to leave. Then, Chloe saw that strange number sending another message, "He loves me more." The strange message read, "You can't take what's not yours. He's coming to give me the ring." A screenshot accompanied the message, a picture of Lucas stating he was going to give the ring to that woman. In an instant, Chloe became so dazed that she couldn't say a word, and her hands and feet turned ice cold. Chloe finished trying on the wedding dress alone and left alone. When Chloe got home, Lucas still hadn't returned. The time shown by the clock hands was something Chloe couldn't bear to look at. Coincidentally, Olivia, Chloe's best friend, asked Chloe to accompany her for a prenatal checkup in the hospital. Chloe saw Lucas again. Lucas was accompanying a woman who was about to give birth. If Chloe hadn't witnessed it with her own eyes, Chloe couldn't have imagined that a person who didn't show much emotion, even when he was affectionate, would be on the verge of falling apart at this moment. Lucas covered his heart and looked at the person on the hospital bed with such eagerness and heartache. While Chloe was still in doubt, the next second, Lucas lay on the operating table and refused to let go. Lucas's usually cold and noble face suddenly resembled that of a crying child. Ethan lowered himself with a pleading look, and Ethan's voice trembled. "Please save her. I'll pay any amount of money. If that's not enough, I'll give you my company." Ethan was so out of control that Ethan knelt down. Ethan's suit was pristine, which made Ethan look even more handsome. The medical staff wanted to help Ethan up, but Ethan just wouldn't stand up until the person on the bed suddenly had a brief moment of lucidity and opened her mouth. "Sophia! Sophia!" Immediately, Ethan grabbed the hand of the woman on the hospital bed. Lucas and Sophia looked at each other affectionately. Just then, a nurse interrupted, "Excuse me, miss. This is a VIP ward. You've entered the wrong room." Chloe was in so much pain that she couldn't say a word, and one of her hands was still on the doorknob. The cold touch stabbed Chloe deeply, but the scalding tears couldn't help flowing down from the corners of her eyes. Chloe was the kind of person who couldn't hold back tears easily. Chloe had been weak since childhood and was raised on traditional Chinese medicine, always in need of someone to take care of her. After being with Lucas, he took care of Chloe all the time. Even Lucas's years-long obsession with cleanliness seemed to disappear in front of Chloe. Lucas would care for Chloe all night when Chloe had a fever, clean up Chloe's vomit, and stay with Chloe in the hospital day and night for a whole month. During that time, Lucas almost fainted from giving blood. Olivia, Chloe's best friend, even patted Chloe and said, "Lucas really loves you. It seems that you're more important than his own life. You two make me so envious. You're such a perfect match." Lucas always just stared at Chloe, completely ignoring Olivia's words. At that time, when Chloe saw the heartache in Lucas's eyes, she thought that was love after all. Everyone knew that Lucas's weakness was his fiancée, Chloe. If there was anything in the world that could interest Lucas, it was Chloe. Lucas's friends and people in his circle all knew her. Chloe was his favorite, the one he cherished most. But how could one heart hold two people? How could Lucas shed tears for another woman when he was supposed to love Chloe the most? Through the glass window, Chloe saw the extremely remorseful Lucas. The corners of Lucas's eyes were red, and Lucas looked dazed. Chloe had never seen Lucas in such a vulnerable state, as if Lucas had lost something precious. That woman was Lucas's precious one. Just then, the people inside pushed the hospital bed out, and the nurse was just about to take Chloe aside, but Chloe had already been pushed down by the people in the ward. Chloe's head hit the chair directly, and the brief concussion made Chloe dizzy for a moment. Chloe's heart hurt. Surprisingly, Chloe wanted to grab Lucas's hand and ask him who this woman was to him, but Chloe had no strength in her whole body. Just like a doll without a soul, Chloe could only let Lucas leave. Lucas didn't even glance at Chloe, he didn't recognize her. Instead, Lucas anxiously ordered the doctors, "Save her quickly, Sophia. You'll be okay. The baby will be okay too. Do you have the heart to leave me alone?" Lucas opened a box and placed the ring inside into Sophia's hand. The meaning of that ring represented something even more precious than life. The always proud man had lost all his calmness. Lucas claimed he didn't like to say sweet words or coax people, but at this moment, Lucas was expressing sentiments that Chloe had never heard before. Suddenly, Chloe remembered the introduction on Lucas's social media account, Sophia. How could a cold, noble person with no desire to express himself use such an introduction? Chloe didn't understand it at that time. Why was it all marked as Sophia? What did it mean to Lucas now? Chloe remembered the name of the woman on the hospital bed, Sophia. Lucas called the woman Sophia. So his Sophia didn't signify happiness or joy, but rather that Lucas loved Sophia. The nurse beside Chloe wanted to help her up, but Chloe stared at Lucas's departing figure as if she had just awakened from a vivid dream. "Sorry, what happened just now?" Chloe asked the nurse, but her eyes remained fixed on Lucas's back until it vanished from view. The nurse couldn't help but sigh. Mr. Lucas's wife was about to give birth and had a massive hemorrhage. Mr. Lucas was so worried. It's rare to see a man who loves his wife so much. Lucas is simply the best husband. Chloe murmured those words silently and then staggered back into the ward. Just then, the promises that Lucas had made before their wedding echoed in Chloe's ears. "I really want to take good care of you. Because of your appearance, my life has become warm and full of smiles. You are my salvation." It seemed that wasn't the case. The woman lying there was Lucas's salvation. Chloe picked up the woman's dropped mobile phone and saw the chat records between them. Only then did Chloe realize that the woman was Lucas's girlfriend of 7 years, his only moonlight, the person he had always kept in his heart and never forgotten. Lucas was using a small account, and the profile picture on WeChat was a photo of him and Sophia when they were in college. Lucas sneered coldly, feeling his body losing strength, and then he completely fainted. When he woke up again, what he saw was the pure white ceiling. Noisy voices were in his ears. Lucas was questioning irrationally, is Chloe fine at all? But she's dead. She's already dead. Is it interesting to argue with a dead person? Chloe is always like a child. She'll never grow up. Doesn't she feel embarrassed? A loud slap echoed in the room. Olivia's voice rang out, you bastard. Isn't it the first day that Chloe is weak? Have you forgotten what you said? You two were supposed to get married. You're as unreasonable as Chloe. You're crazy. I don't even want to bother with you. Lucas didn't hesitate to leave after saying that. Olivia cried and pleaded with Lucas not to go. Chloe managed to stand up with difficulty, opened the door, and looked at the two people outside, shocked, worried, afraid, and disappointed. Lucas. Lucas had so many expressions. That cold, aesthetic face seemed not to belong to Lucas. Before Chloe could say anything, Lucas had already said rudely, Chloe, she's already dead. You won't argue with a dead person again, will you? Chloe nodded weakly. Chloe must have looked so embarrassed and pitiful at that moment. Chloe's pale face, her unsteady figure, her overbearing fiancé, Lucas, and his dead moonlight, all of these struck Chloe hard on the day when they were about to get married. Lucas had gone to see his ex-girlfriend giving birth. Probably there wasn't anyone else like this. Even Lucas placed the wedding ring in Sophia's hand. Chloe's eyes were cold, and the pain in her heart made it hard for her to speak. However, Lucas interpreted this as Chloe being obedient and sensible. Chloe, just this once. Wait for me. I'll marry you after I'm done with her funeral. Chloe still didn't say anything. Lucas looked at the time anxiously. I don't have time. Chloe, Sophia needs me. I have to accompany her for the last journey. I just regard her as my best friend. Lucas expressed, she only has me. Lucas did not take the time to offer any further explanation and simply departed. Olivia, Chloe's best friend, was about to interject, but Chloe spoke up first. Lucas, she doesn't have time, and I don't have time either. If you leave, it means you don't want me anymore. Chloe fixed her gaze on Lucas. His eyes shifted, and finally, as if he had come to a resolution, Lucas declared, she's already dead. You're still alive, aren't you? It's fine if I plan the wedding for you, but not for the next 2 years. Sophia needs me to stay with her. Don't act like a child. Ethan threw those words and left Chloe's ward with big strides. From beginning to end, Ethan never asked what illness Chloe had, nor did he ask why Chloe was sad. Now, Ethan loved Chloe, but he loved Sophia more. One can't always deeply love just one person, but Chloe did it while Ethan couldn't. Chloe remembered the content of their chat. Sophia chatted with Ethan late at night after giving birth. There would be a milky smell. Others definitely couldn't stand it, unlike Ethan's girlfriend who was kept at home and must be fragrant and soft. Lucas comforted Sophia. She smells of medicine all over. It's so unpleasant. I don't even want to hug her. It's our loss if there's a chance. I hope we can return to the past. I wish you could always be by my side. Lucas was filled with deep regret, and Sophia was full of great pity. Chloe also really wanted to continue loving Lucas, but Sophia was in the way. Lucas said Sophia was a coward. As long as Sophia stayed by his side, she wouldn't dare to go against him at all. Chloe closed her eyes and then slowly opened them. Warm tears flowed down again. Part of Chloe's illness was caused by getting caught in the rain while accompanying Lucas to start his business. Chloe's already weak body became even weaker. Chloe didn't take the medicine just for one day, but for several consecutive years, and Lucas's love didn't disappear overnight either. Chloe was not a coward, she just loved too much, but now Chloe didn't want to love anymore. A message popped up on Chloe's phone. Chloe, clear out the house. Sophia wants to come home and doesn't want to see anyone else. Chloe sneered and nodded. Yeah, it's time to clear it out. It's also time to change the person. Lucas probably forgot that Chloe agreed to marry him because he begged her on his knees when they first started their business together. He wasn't the high and mighty President Lucas yet, he was just Lucas with a project proposal in his hand. Lucas graduated from undergraduate school and didn't have an overly high education degree, but he was a proud man. No matter how smart a poor genius was, he would still be looked down upon. Lucas wasn't willing to bow down, so Chloe stood in front of Lucas, blocked dozens of glasses of whiskey for Lucas, drank countless shots of white liquor, and won a project worth millions of dollars. When Chloe was vomiting from drinking too much, Lucas held the contract and hugged Chloe. Chloe, you're really my lucky star. Thanks to you, I could win the project. As Lucas said this, Lucas became gentler and gentler and even raised his finger to swear, my wife can only be Chloe. I'll love you for a lifetime, and we'll never be apart. What did Chloe say back then? Chloe said, those who betray true love should swallow 10,000 needles. Lucas replied, I won't, Chloe. I only love you. If I break my oath, I'd rather swallow 10,000 needles. Chloe stared blankly at the swearing Lucas. Lucas loved Chloe deeply and was willing to show his true feelings. It was the plum rain season at that time, and Lucas and Chloe didn't even have enough money for a taxi. By the time Lucas and Chloe walked home, Chloe couldn't bear it anymore. Chloe's heart palpitations, which were already a problem, got even worse because of getting wet in the rain. Chloe lay in the hospital bed for half a month and didn't get better. Lucas panicked. After taking care of Chloe all night, Lucas heard that making a wish at the temple was effective, so Lucas knelt on over 1,000 steps. A proud man lowered his head and painstakingly begged Chloe for a sachet from the temple. Thanks to the sachet, Chloe's condition finally improved a little. At that time, Chloe had a smell of medicine on her. But what did Lucas say? Lucas cooked porridge for Chloe every day, fed her personally, and then told her stories to coax her to sleep. No matter how tired Lucas was from work, Lucas always took care of Chloe, as usual. Lucas watched Chloe fall asleep carefully, and only then would Lucas feel at ease. At that time, Lucas said, Chloe, I don't want you to be wronged. You're the most important treasure. I won't let anything affect you in the future. Just be the Honorable Mrs. Lucas. Chloe was so moved that Chloe cried for a long time. Before Chloe saw the ring Lucas presented to Chloe, it was a bright and shiny blue diamond ring. Lucas said Lucas would buy Chloe a better one when Ethan proposed to Chloe on an island, and even the fireworks were blue. Ethan stated that only the unique blue rose was worthy of the unique Chloe. Since childhood, Chloe always had to give in to her younger sister. Even her name, her parents didn't love her, and her sister bullied her. Chloe had never been cherished by someone like that before. Now, Chloe couldn't see Ethan clearly. Time can really change a person. One's heart can also love two people at the same time. Ethan loves Chloe while thinking about his moonlight, Sophia. Sophia represented the biggest danger in love. It had never been the third party, but the person lying beside Chloe. This Lucas wasn't Chloe's Lucas. Chloe smiled bitterly and looked at her best friend Olivia's bulging belly. Did Olivia feel scared? And what about Olivia's godson? Chloe was counting on him to take care of her when Chloe grew old and to see her off when she died. Olivia reached out and rubbed Chloe's head, saying in an extremely reproachful tone, "Who knows if it's a boy or a girl? I don't want my son to be a scumbag. You two, break up with that scumbag quickly." Chloe grabbed Olivia's hand and felt the warmth in Olivia's palm. Break up? Of course. The doctor said it was a boy. If it were a girl, she would be Chloe's goddaughter anyway. What's Chloe's is Olivia's. What's meant for Chloe's goddaughter would definitely not be left to Lucas. Olivia smiled like a jasmine flower. The pure white wall reflected Olivia's face. Chloe packed her things and prepared to go home. Olivia subconsciously worried, "Chloe, are you okay?" Chloe shook her head. The former Chloe was just sick, not dead. The success of the company wasn't just Lucas's credit alone. Chloe was also part of it. Among the company's shareholders, Lucas held the most shares, and Chloe was the second. When Chloe got home, she couldn't stop her tears from flowing. It wasn't because she was sad, but because she was happy. So what if Chloe was a crybaby? She could finally be free as a single person. Chloe looked at the empty villa. Lucas had said to give the villa to Sophia's ashes. Fine, give it to her. Chloe didn't like this home either. She didn't like the decorations on the walls, and she didn't like the people living in the house. Chloe no longer desired Lucas, and she didn't want that home either. She only wanted money. Lucas was still nowhere to be found at home. Oh, he had to stay with Sophia and remain celibate for 2 years. The two of them regarded each other as confidants, talked to each other every day, and seemed to have endless topics. While Chloe was making a birthday wish on the cake, Lucas was asking Sophia if she liked the necklace. Chloe's birthday gift became something meant to please Sophia. The next day, when Chloe was sending soup to Lucas at the company, he was accompanying Sophia for a prenatal checkup. When Chloe was going back and forth to the hospital and lying on the cold surgical equipment, Lucas was right next to her. Lucas carefully reminded Sophia, "You're not a child. How could you sprain your ankle while walking? You should be more careful, otherwise, I'll be worried." Sophia replied at that time, "Thank you, Lucas. Without you, I really don't know how to get through this. I really wanted to see you." Lucas responded, "Your girlfriend shouldn't mind, right?" "She won't mind. She can only make soup all day and can't do anything else." Lucas answered. The two of them were both friends and lovers, and they blatantly took away the right of others to love. Now that Chloe thought about it, she suddenly felt relieved. It turned out that she could stop loving Lucas so quickly. Chloe spent 5 hours packing her things, 3 hours moving to her new home, and just a few minutes reflecting on all of Lucas's good points. The next day, Chloe took the divorce agreement and went to Lucas's company. Chloe wore the red dress that she used to love wearing and walked into Lucas's office with delicate makeup on. The new secretary took one look at Chloe and quickly stopped her. "Who are you? You need to make an appointment to see President Lucas." Chloe looked at the secretary's young, bright face. Oh, no wonder the secretary looked familiar. She actually resembled Sophia. Just the 6-point similarity in appearance was enough to make her a newbie who didn't know anything become the secretary directly. Then why did Lucas like Chloe? Chloe appeared completely different from Sophia. Although Chloe was weak, she had a glamorous and beautiful appearance, totally different from Sophia's delicate and frail look. Chloe didn't answer the secretary. Instead, Chloe greeted President Ethan, who came out from inside. Ethan knew Chloe. After all, Chloe had taken quite a few projects from him back then. Lucas always said, "Don't have any dealings with Ethan. He had his eye on my future wife, and I wasn't happy about it." At that time, Chloe only had Lucas in her eyes. How could there be room for anyone else in her heart? Now, Ethan seemed a bit more handsome than Lucas, with a touch of wildness but also gentleness in his eyes. Chloe gently stretched out her hand and straightened Ethan's tie under Lucas's gaze. Ethan displayed a charming smile. President Chloe had finally come to the company. It was no wonder that Ethan had thrown so many projects to her company. Chloe smiled gently, probably the happiest smile since she had fallen ill. At that time, Chloe thought that getting married would be the happiest thing for her. Now, it seems that getting divorced was the happiest thing. Lucas's voice was full of anger, while the secretary beside him observed the relationship among the three of them. Chloe looked over without the slightest fear. Lucas was wearing the suit from yesterday, looking exhausted, even from a distance. Lucas's eyes were still red as he looked at Chloe for a moment. Chloe suddenly felt that Lucas seemed about to cry. But how could such a cold and indifferent person cry? Only a woman like Sophia could make Lucas cry. How could Chloe? Chloe smiled slightly and looked at the approaching Lucas, who was staring at her fixedly. "You shouldn't be wearing this red dress. Why did you dress up so beautifully?" Lucas asked with a questioning tone, and one hand tried to grab Chloe. No matter how mature Lucas was, he also had a childish side. So, whenever Lucas and Chloe quarreled, Lucas always liked to hold Chloe's hand. Lucas knew that as long as he held Chloe's hand like this, she wouldn't leave. But how could someone who should leave be reluctant to let go? Chloe directly interrupted Lucas's words. "Today is a happy day. I had my fortune told yesterday. The fortune teller said someone was blocking my wealth. I'm here today to get rid of that bad omen." Chloe said, "Lucas, let's get divorced." Although Chloe and Lucas hadn't held the wedding yet, they had already obtained the marriage certificate in advance. The bond represented by the marriage certificate felt too cheap to Chloe. She thought of the ring that Lucas had put on Sophia's hand and realized how cheap she felt. It turned out that she didn't deserve it. Chloe held the divorce agreement and looked at Lucas. He wasn't as tough as she had imagined. Instead, Lucas looked at her quite vulnerably. His straight body stood not far from Chloe. Lucas gasped for breath and covered his chest in pain. "Chloe, do you know what you're saying?" Lucas rubbed his eyebrows wearily, and the corners of his eyes started to turn slightly red. "We will get married." I just want to do it a bit later. Do you have to make trouble these days? I'm really tired. You used to be so sensible. Let's talk about it later. Okay. Lucas wanted to pull Chloe's body, but Chloe dodged nimbly. At that moment, Lucas's body froze. Lucas had never experienced refusal from Chloe before. He loved her so much that he forgot what it was like when she didn't love him. Like now, Chloe thought, they were not children anymore. Chloe was not that childish to take divorce as a joke. Chloe directly shook her head. Lucas relaxed for no reason, believing that Chloe had come to her senses. Chloe was not there to hold the wedding. Chloe was there to divorce Lucas. Lucas had not had any disabilities before. Did Lucas have some hidden illness now, or was what Chloe said so hard to understand? Chloe took out the divorce agreement again and handed it to Lucas. Stop torturing me, Lucas. Since you love Sophia so much, then love her forever. Chloe felt a wave of nausea wash over her, unable to contain her disgust. Lucas looked at Chloe with a surprised gaze, unable to believe that the woman in front of him was still the same Chloe he once knew. He walked over and held Chloe tightly with both hands. She's already dead, Chloe. Why can't you understand? What's the point of arguing with a dead person? The more Lucas spoke, the more agitated he became. As his emotions escalated, he looked at Chloe with pleading eyes. Chloe, you haven't experienced that kind of thing, so you can't understand her despair at all. Lucas had already lost Sophia. He didn't want to lose Chloe too. Lucas still considered himself so affectionate even now. Chloe looked into Lucas's affectionate eyes. Don't you understand? I don't love you anymore. Got it? Chloe looked at Lucas coldly. Sophia is dead, and I'm alive. So do I have to be bothered by this? Do I have to give in to her? Chloe urged Lucas to stop torturing her. It's really boring. This time, it was Lucas's turn to break down. He had just won a good project and thought he could ease his mood, but unexpectedly, Chloe proposed divorce at this time. Sign it, otherwise, Lucas will be hated for the rest of Chloe's life. Lucas trembled as he reached out to grab Chloe's clothes, but Chloe dodged again. Unable to avoid him fast enough, Ethan, behind Chloe, laughed out loud and said, extremely politely, well, President Chloe, since you're getting divorced, can I court you? I'm young and in good health. I hope President Chloe will give me a chance. Lucas, through the divorce agreement, meant to stop Ethan. Chloe smiled happily and said to Lucas, if this one is gone, there will be another one. Just be ready to sign it. After Chloe walked out of the company, she felt inexplicably relaxed. There was nothing more relaxing than that moment. It was as if Chloe's soul had flown to heaven. It turned out that being alone was so nice. However, what Chloe didn't expect was that Lucas was unwilling to sign the divorce agreement. Lucas kept calling Chloe doggedly. When Chloe was in a good mood, she would listen to Lucas's explanations. When Chloe was in a bad mood, she would scold Lucas a few times, until, almost a week later, after Lucas found Chloe's address, he frequently sent Chloe blue roses. Chloe started to feel anxious. Oh no, could it be that Lucas didn't want to split the property equally and wanted to keep her instead? Chloe looked at Lucas, who waited at her door every day. Lucas had meetings every day, but now he was waiting for Chloe like a teenager who just fell in love. However, Chloe directly got into Ethan's car in that instant. Lucas rushed to Chloe's side without hesitation. He took a ring and held it in front of Chloe. "Chloe, look at it. Isn't it nice? Our years together. Can you really bear to end it like this?" Lucas and Chloe were about to get married. Clearly, they should have been so happy. Lucas envisioned Chloe as his wife, waiting for him to come home from work every day. They would have a child during such a joyful time, and that child would call Chloe Mom and Lucas Dad. Lucas had dreamed of this for so many years. Chloe, however, still ignored Lucas. What dream was he talking about? She didn't care. She didn't even want to look at Lucas again. It was so disgusting. Lucas was still thinking about his ex-girlfriend who was pregnant. Chloe found it filthy. She smiled at Ethan beside her at that moment. Chloe felt really pretty. "Let's go," she said. Lucas watched helplessly as Chloe walked past and banged on the car door hard. "Chloe, how could you treat me like this? I love you so much," Lucas pleaded. Chloe looked at Lucas's shirt and tie and thought he was really awful. "Lucas, can't you live without a woman? You're really terrible," Chloe replied as she closed the car door when she was about to leave with Ethan. In a desperate move, Lucas drove his car and crashed into them, blocking Chloe in front like a madman. Chloe wasn't seriously hurt, but Lucas's forehead was bleeding. Dead. Ethan couldn't stand it and was about to get out of the car to confront Lucas from a distance. Chloe saw Lucas with blood all over his head, kneeling towards her repeatedly. Lucas shouted her name loudly, "Chloe! I'm sorry. Could you please give me a chance?" Chloe looked over as if she had lost all her patience. Lucas was injured and hospitalized. He hadn't contacted Chloe for half a week, but she heard that he was calling her name even during the operation. The blue roses at Chloe's home never stopped coming, those bright and glamorous roses that were meant for her. Lucas used to talk in his sleep as well. Chloe had heard it before. Lucas expressed many thoughts when he was drunk. Therefore, Chloe visited the music listening platform Lucas had mentioned and discovered his passionate confession from when he was 20 years old. It was a love he had never shared with Chloe, so innocent. All of Lucas's accounts featured the note, Sophia, and the only list he followed was also dedicated to her. Lucas's love did not belong to Chloe. She discarded all the blue roses and replaced them with yellow roses. The flower language of yellow roses signifies lost love. During the days when Lucas was in the hospital, Olivia kept calling Chloe. Olivia asked, "Chloe, why don't you stay away from Lucas? He's gone crazy. He said he couldn't live without you. You're his salvation." Olivia's voice suddenly became gentle again as she inquired, "Do you still want to give him a chance?" Chloe knew that Olivia was the gentlest person. Olivia was Chloe's good friend and couldn't bear to see Chloe wronged, but Chloe still didn't love Lucas anymore. Chloe was almost forgetting what Lucas looked like in this half a month. Chloe told Olivia gently, "What's done is done." Lucas called Chloe again to discuss the divorce. Chloe thought Lucas had come to his senses, but Lucas asked her to go home first. Chloe corrected him in time, "That's not home, Lucas. That's your home, the home for you and Sophia, but not mine." Lucas was silent for a long time. He didn't ask Chloe again. Instead, he begged her pitifully, "Then could you come back and have a look?" When Chloe went back to that home again, she had planned to just take her things and leave. But unexpectedly, Chloe saw Sophia's parents and younger brother. The living room was decorated beautifully and brightly, but there were 3 extra people present. Sophia's parents were like vampires surrounding. Our daughter is dead, and you only gave that little bit of money. Her husband doesn't care about us because of you. Don't you have to take good care of her younger brother? For Sophia, the boy stood in front of Lucas with a bottle of red wine in his hand. The younger brother looked at Lucas with a mix of expectation and urgency. Brother-in-law, I've already called you that. My sister said that only you can help me. You're a big boss, you'll help our whole family. The younger brother held up a bottle of wine with a smug expression. This bottle of wine costs hundreds of thousands, but it tastes like water to me. Things from the rich don't taste good at all, but I'll become rich soon too. Lucas, flustered, pushed Sophia's parents and younger brother away. Sophia is already dead. Why won't you let me go? Sophia's mother smiled with satisfaction and pointed at Lucas's chest, her eyes gleaming with a sense of triumph. Who told Lucas to secretly date Sophia? Sophia's mother recorded a video on the day Lucas slept with her daughter. Sophia's mother knew about the affair. If Lucas wanted to secretly be involved with two women, he should have asked for permission from Sophia's mother. Maybe the child in Sophia's belly belonged to Lucas. Men like Lucas just love to shirk responsibility. Nice try. Chloe listened blankly and suddenly felt that she did not seem to be angry anymore, even after knowing these things. It turned out that Lucas had been secretly with Sophia for a long time. How disgusting! Lucas turned his head, not wanting to get entangled with Sophia's parents, but unexpectedly saw Chloe in that instant. Lucas looked at Chloe in shock and despair. Chloe, it's not like that. It's not what you think, Lucas tried to explain. You've been together since a year ago? Lucas. How disgusting. How many times had he been with Sophia in a day? As if he hadn't expected Chloe to ask that, he replied, just once, just because we were drunk. I just felt sorry for her. I didn't expect this, Chloe. It was really not like that. Lucas wanted to explain, but Sophia's mother slapped Lucas hard. Let me make it clear to you, Sophia's mother said. The reason Sophia broke up with you back then wasn't because of me. My daughter looked down on you at that time because you had no money. She came to you eagerly only when she knew you were rich. Now, I have something on you. You'd better give me enough money. Lucas looked at everything in front of him in despair. A single sentence was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. So nobody loves Lucas. Chloe smiled and held up her phone. Chloe had already recorded all the conversations just now. Lucas was the one at fault. Chloe had the right to take a larger share. As for Sophia's family members, didn't Lucas love Sophia? Then Lucas could love Sophia's family forever. Lucas had no choice but to agree to the divorce and even gave Chloe an extra portion of shares. At the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Lucas knelt down dejectedly in front of Chloe. Chloe, you're the only one I have left. Could Lucas please not leave Chloe? Lucas should give Chloe a chance. Chloe looked at Lucas's wretched appearance. Chloe had given Lucas chances before. That day in the hospital, Chloe had begged Lucas not to leave. Sophia was already dead, and Lucas should have taken care of Chloe and thought about their marriage. But Lucas was so dizzy-headed that he insisted on remaining celibate for his beautiful Moonlight. Well, now it turned out that Lucas's so-called precious Moonlight was just greedy for his money. All of this was Lucas's own doing. No way, Lucas. Chloe and Lucas would better not meet again, even in their next life. Chloe hated Lucas. Chloe wanted to leave, but Lucas tried every means to hold on to Chloe's legs. Chloe quickly shouted for help. The enthusiastic citizens who were watching the excitement nearby directly beat Lucas up badly and broke 6 of his ribs. Lucas, lying in a pool of blood, stared at Chloe blankly. Chloe saw the pleading in Lucas's eyes, but Chloe didn't care at all. Instead, Chloe tidied up the situation and then left. Chloe didn't tell anyone where she was going, not even her best friend. On that day, Chloe took a plane to Italy. People always need a place to yearn for. The clouds outside the window appeared so blue, symbolizing freedom and aspiration. Unexpectedly, Chloe encountered Ethan on the plane. Ethan was examining the local travel guide of Italy when he noticed Chloe looking at him. He joyfully poked his head out and greeted her. He seemed prepared for this moment, but Chloe had no desire to fall into the trap of love again. Later, Chloe learned that Sophia's family had asked Lucas to transfer his shares to Sophia's younger brother. Naturally, Lucas didn't agree. He set fire and directly burned down the villa. Sophia's parents were screaming in fright in the villa that day. In the villa, some died, and some were disabled. All of this was because of a woman named Sophia. They said Sophia was so beautiful that she attracted a wealthy boss. But Lucas was arrested and put in prison. The only message he asked the lawyer to bring out was, "I wanted to marry the woman I loved deeply, but I betrayed her true feelings. I didn't get to see her again." It seemed that Lucas had lost Sophia that day. A friend showed Lucas the wedding surprise that Lucas had prepared before. It was a magnificent confession on a cruise ship. Blue roses were in full bloom, and shiny gift boxes were filled with surprises everywhere. At that time, Lucas said to the camera, "1 year later, I will marry Chloe. Only she is my bride." I want to ask myself, 1 year later, did you marry Chloe? Have you been nice to her? Make sure not to let her be wronged, or I won't forgive you, my Chloe. Lucas wanted Chloe to be his most important treasure because he wished to stay by her side forever. Lucas hoped Chloe would put on the ring he had prepared for her and welcome the century wedding he had arranged for her. The fireworks were brilliant, and the only beauty was frozen on that day. It was a video prepared a year ago, but it fell through because of an accident. Chloe watched as the video in her hand was snatched away by another person. This person held her tightly in a domineering way and asked, "Am I as good-looking as him?" Chloe smiled. "Not really. Ethan is the most handsome." Ethan held Chloe in his arms. Ethan didn't need to swear, Ethan proved it with actions. There was someone who loved Chloe deeply. Chloe deserved it. Extra story. The 23-year-old Lucas could never forgive the 28-year-old Lucas because the treasure Lucas had cherished for 5 years was lost. The person who made mistakes cheered triumphantly, while the one who was truly in love shed sad tears. Lucas went to see the so-called century wedding that others talked about later. Lucas had originally wanted to prepare it for Chloe too, but when Lucas saw the century wedding in the video, Lucas realized that the woman in the video was Chloe. The happy woman was holding a bouquet of flowers in her hands, just like a princess in a fairy tale. Chloe was so happy, but not because of Lucas. With painful tears falling down, Lucas slapped himself hard twice. Lucas regretted it. How nice it would be if Lucas could turn back time. When others found Lucas again, Lucas was already dead in his bed. When Olivia was 22 years old, Olivia's younger sister snatched away Olivia's opportunity to study abroad. Olivia's sister deprived Olivia of her life as a wealthy young lady for 12 years. Even though Olivia became the real wealthy young lady later, when Olivia went abroad alone, Olivia was cheated. When Olivia was on the verge of death, someone pushed Olivia away and Olivia was hit by a speeding car. When Olivia ran to that person's side, that person couldn't speak anymore, but Olivia heard that person's voice intermittently. "This time, forgive me. In this life, Olivia, be happy."